yourself to the priest. Jesus was following the Mosaic law and was following the ordinances that has to do with the cleansing of the leper. They obeyed Jesus. On their way, the Bible says that they were cleansed. They were cleansed. They were cleansed. While they were going, the miracle began to unfold on their way to showing themselves to the priest, because as a leper, if and when miracles begin to happen in your life, you are not allowed to enter society until the priest has certified you cleansed. So Jesus said, go show yourself to the priest. On their way, the cleansing supernaturally began to take place. While they were going, I'd like you to please imagine the scene. These were 10 lepers. They had lost their hand. They possibly must have lost their foot as they were scribbling along and just going along to show themselves to the priest. A lot of persons will part way to the left and to the right, allowing them to have free access because of the disease on their skin. As they were going, suddenly they began to experience cleansing from the crown of their head to the sole of their feet. To be cleansed as a leper does not necessarily mean that you are made whole, because the whitish substance and the form of the disease will leave you, but the deformity of the sickness will still remain. So as they were going, they were moving along that path. The Bible says that they were cleansed. One of them noticed that he was cleansed, and then he stopped. I like you to understand that this was a movement of a group of persons. They were 10 in number. As they were going, this one stopped. When he stopped in his track, the other 9 continued to go along. Even though they had seen that they were cleansed, they were rejoicing. We are going to show ourselves to the priest and to rejoin society again. But this man stopped. The Bible says, and he turned back. He turned back. There is something about turning back when something happens to a man. The men who do not know how to give thanks are people that does not know how to turn back. It takes grace to turn back. I don't know who you are here today, but that you have to turn back 20 years ago and see where you were. Oh, they turn back. I like you to understand, for a leper to turn back, he turned back and looked at his leprosy. He turned back and looked at his failure. The ostracization from society. I am clean. He turned back. He turned back. To turn back means to think deep. To look at yourself, to sit down. In spite of all the challenges, remember that this man, though cleansed, was still deformed. Remember that this man, though he has a job now, yet he is still poor. Please remember that though he is now married, yet he is still waiting for a child. I like you to please understand that though now he has this and that, but his goal has not been met yet. He turned back. He turned back. When he turned back, the others were still going. Then he decided to return. Not to go forward to the priest, but to return to the man of Galilee. I'm not going to continue to go forward. Something has happened to me. I must first go and say thank you. Thank you to the one that spoke the word and delivered me. Afterward, I may now continue my journey to show myself to the priest. He stopped. I don't know who I'm talking to, but this morning God asked me to tell you, pause and turn back. If you can turn back, stop complaining. If you can turn back and look at where you were before now, you can come back. There is a beauty about turning back. And God loves it when we turn back in thanksgiving. When we return. When you look back in your life. I took a long walk around the corridor, praising God. It was in the daytime. I couldn't help but shed tears. You see, I just got to pay for a property the previous day. They are taking me to this particular place and we are going to pay for it. And I paid for it. I didn't have sleepless night. And the money is heavy. There is no need me calling the amount. It's a couple of millions. But it dawned on me as I woke up that morning that my life was not always like that. That's not where I always was. So I told my wife, I'm coming. I took a walk. Ṣé iná rẹ̀ Olúwa? Èmi náà rẹ̀ Olúwa? Èmi erùpẹ̀ lásán tó ṣe ènìyàn. Now please understand this, that I remember where I was. I remember where I was. There are many of you, the reason why you are complaining today is because you can't remember where you took it from. You can't remember when you were in one room. You cannot remember when you did not even have all this to wear. Now you are several clothes to choose from. You have a problem choosing clothes, but yet you are complaining. Yet you are complaining. Yet you cannot give thanks. But if you are going to return today, I pray for you. The God that made men whole will make you whole. To come back means to dig deep. When a man digs deep, he will thank God with overflow gratitude. To dig deep. The man returned. Today, Pastor Bengo Barafo is returning. He is returning to the color that has made the calling colorful. He is returning to the beautifier that has made his mouth not to be sour in praise. Please understand it. Your ability to return is what will define your longevity in your walk with God. You will not last with God if you don't know how to return. You will not. You won't. I was praying in the redemption camp. I was praying in the redemption camp. And I would go to the redemption camp. Anyone who knows me intimately knows that the redemption camp is one big altar for me. I was walking around with my tambourine. I was just praising God. I left the challenge where I was and I was praising God. I was praising God. I was praising God. I was praising God. Then I stopped. I stopped. Not because everything is okay. I stopped and I turned back. I remember years ago when I came to the redemption camp and I sat on the altar, empty auditorium. I wanted to pray, but I could not because I had prayed from inside the way bathroom. My knees were buckling. I was tired. I sat there. I couldn't pray. Then I stood up, mostly strength. I came to the point, to that altar area, and I knelt down. I said, oh God, I don't know what you are doing with my life, but the way it it is, I don't like it. I know you called me. I know I carry your grace. But the trajectory of my life right now, it's not pleasing to me. Men are mocking me. Some are doing it directly. Some are doing it by side. Some are doing it at my back. Lord, do something. There it was. There it was. There's something happened. There was this guy that they literally carried him and brought him there. And he was holding some kind of a tambourine in his hand. And he was praising God. He was singing, fa-la-la, 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 Anjola Jesu, fa-la-la, 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 fa-la-la. I look at him. What is fa-la-la, fa-la-la about this guy? This is true life story. Anjola Jesu. And I was looking at this man. I looked at him. His leg, his situation, the way I saw him by the backside, there was a sharp pampas around him. I analyzed him just by looking at him. Yet he was thanking and praising God. Father, then later I found out that he was also blind. Apologize to God. I ran away from the camp. I ran away, I came home. Brothers and sisters in Christ, you are complaining that your life is not where you ought to be. Remember, when Jesus met you, you were a leper. He asked you to go and show yourself to the priest, and now you are clean. It's time to return. Come on, somebody say, I will return. Somebody say, I will return. Now, there's something powerful about Thanksgiving. There's something life-changing about Thanksgiving. The Bible says in Psalm 100 verse 4, Psalm 100 verse 4, enter into his gates with thanksgiving. Somebody say it after me. And into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. I want to show you a quiet truth from that verse, and I believe that if you capture this, it will aid your life of praise and thanksgiving. Why is God saying, praise me, thank me? Of course, yes, God cannot thank himself. God cannot praise himself. But then you have to understand that in Psalm 100 verse 4, the psalmist began to deal with something powerful, something crucial, something that everybody must pay attention to. Number one, it began to talk to us about the gate of God. Somebody say the gate of God. The gate of God. Say it louder, say the gate of God. In other words, the psalmist is saying to us that God has gates. And then there's something unique about this. He uses the word gates in the plural sense. That is to say, God has several gates. But when he was talking about gates, the entry point, the access to these gates is only one: thanksgiving. The gates are many, but the access to the gate is thanksgiving. For you to understand it, you need to understand what a gate is. A gate is spiritual. It's not talking about something natural.